welcome back to my channel. So today I'm showing you how to make this Valentine's Day card. So I really love how this card turned out. So I'm taking my 6x4 inch card base, and then I'm taking the Sweet Smiles stamp and coordinating dies by FAWN. I've had this set in my wish list for quite a while, and I managed to get a hold of it this year. So I'm bringing in picked raspberry into KITSCH Flamingo, Distress ink, and Distress Oxide. A lot of people tell me that, you know, I really shouldn't mix these, where I should just use one or the other. I don't mean like the colours, I mean like the oxides in the ink. But I think they blend really well together. You just have to make sure you know, blend them out as best as you can, and I never find that an issue. So yeah, I'm gonna do that, and I'll keep going. Eventually I change it a couple of times, I have to admit. You know, I changed it about 3 times. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna do partly picked raspberry and partly KITSCH Flamingo, and then I ended up going quite a bit further than I thought I was gonna go with it. So, but I love how this card turned out. So this card is actually inspired by one, again, that I found on Google. So what I do is I tend to purchase a stamp, and then I'll go onto Google and YouTube and look for inspiration, and I'll save that video or that picture into my camera roll, and then I'll try and recreate that. But sometimes I'll just have them there for inspiration and never use them, and this is another one of those things where I've had it in my camera roll since, I want to say, March last year. So yeah. But anyways, I'm just going to keep going with this. A little trick that I learned to stop using my fingers is to use a post-it note to stop me from putting my fingerprints in the ink, because distress oxides tend to take any impression that you leave. So definitely recommend using a post-it note. But yeah, so I'm gonna speed this up again, and then all I do is I stamp out the image that I want, and then I don't stamp all the little emoji faces on them on camera. I just found it really tedious. And then plus Dell and Artie came on live, and I didn't really want to miss that, and I wanted to watch it at the same time as me creating. So I ended up watching that as well. So I will link the video that I was watching in my description if you guys want to go and check out what I was watching while I was crafting as well. Dell actually did mention my name a couple of times, so I was so happy. But I'm taking my border die, which I bought from The Works a couple of years ago. You'll see me use this quite often. And I'm just going to trim off the bottom of my card so it has more of like a feminine touch. But obviously I am going to be creating a card which is more of a masculine sort of thing, so it's really up to you. But I also have a 4th of July card in mind for this gumball machine, and yeah. Anyways, so this is what it looked like, and I'm just going to stamp out my image, and I will talk to you guys in a sec. By the power of YouTube, I magically have everything cut out and the face is done. So I'm stamping the sentiment "You're So Sweet," which came with the stamp set, and then I'm using one which is from the So Many Sentiments by TANGLED, which just says "You Make Me Happy." If I can link it, I will, but if I don't, it's just because obviously it's discontinued and I can't. But yeah, I didn't know what colour to stamp this, so I was going to do a tone on tone, but I just didn't think it'd stand out as much as I'd want it to. And this card is very pink. But, you know, normally pink bothers me, but for some reason on this card just works. I don't know. So I'm going to bring in my stuff and I'm just going to work out where everything's going to go. And then I'm just going to use my TONIC Studio Glue to adhere everything to the card base. And then I brought in a blue marker just to add some blue to the top of the gumball machine, because most of the time you see the sky through a machine like that, so I wanted to add that little hint of blue. But if this was in like a supermarket or something, you know, I would add grey, but I don't really see them that much in our supermarkets anymore. They're always on the outside, which is a little weird. Anyway, so I'm just gonna glue that down and then I'll add the blue hint to the glass. I'm sorry you're getting like little flickers. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if it's because I knocked my filming stand or something. I really don't know. But yeah, I absolutely adore this card. It is one of my favorites for Valentine's Day especially. So I'm not a Valentine's Day person. I'm not one of those people that love. I really kind of hate love, which sounds really mean now I think about it, but basically I just don't think, like every film you watch, I think there's always like the love story where like the woman always gets like caught up and like in the way and ends up getting hurt, and the male lead will be upset and, you know, get revenge, or it's always the woman's fault, and it really annoys me that it's like that's how we're portrayed. We're like the distraction almost, so I kind of hate that. It's another reason why I don't watch fairy tales or anything, because it just like winds me up. But you know, like if I ever do have kids, I probably won't let them watch like the majority of fairy tales. I think there's a couple that I would let them watch, like Mulan. I'd let them watch because, you know, Mulan's probably my favorite fairy tale if I have to pick one. So basically, if you haven't watched Mulan, it's basically a woman who, you know, doesn't want her dad to go to war because he's already injured from the last one and she wants to save him. But she also doesn't know where she belongs. She doesn't feel like she can be this perfect little daughter that everybody wants her to be, and she goes off to prove something to everybody, but I think to prove more to herself that she's strong and capable of doing what any guy is anyways. And yeah, it's probably my favorite film, so I highly recommend that one. I haven't watched the new one, which is the live action version. I've watched the Disney one and that's my favorite. But anyways, rambling on. So I'm going to bring in glossy accents to add the like the glass effect. I was going to leave it like this and I think it looks just as good, but you know, I wanted to add some glossy accents to this. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you like and subscribe and head over to my Instagram, follow me over there. It really means the world to me to interact with everybody. And you know, I'm thinking of doing some hops this year, so like at the moment I'm not very organized. Like January is kind of like my try and get back into card making, figure out what needs to be done for birthdays and stuff like that, and yeah, it's just a little bit harder. So I took a heart from the piece of my heart stamp from Lava, just to stamp the little heart. I was surprised that this stamp didn't actually come with one, but so I just stamped that and I'm just adding Wink of Stella on top of it. But that is it for the video, guys, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Stay safe and happy crafting. Bye, guys.